Hey traders, welcome to Charts and Coffee. Happy Friday, everybody. Hope everyone is doing well. A lot of volatility this morning as we're taking a look at the S&P, NASDAQ, Dow. Some early news of, I don't even know what to call it. A lot of pessimistic headlines. And then this morning we get that there were very ambiguous developments of negotiation. We saw the spike higher, and then apparently traders came back to their senses, and we're trading very close to yesterday's open in the NASDAQ, or at least, I'm taking a look at the futures contracts here, and you can see we pull back. This early pre-morning rip higher. And what's going on with my view here? Hang on one sec. I have a weird, I was messing around with, with the backgrounds yesterday. And let's see. There we go. All right. So ultimately what we have is this rip happening within the context of an established downtrend. This is not a short the rip in the Dow, but it is a short the rip in the NASDAQ and in the S&P. So with that being said, think about being opportunistic in the environment where you have a trend. Remember, if you are quote unquote fading, that's the trading terminology. You see some bullish momentum within the context of a downtrend. You want to take advantage of it by sticking with the path of least resistance. So in the context of a downtrend, that's a short, right? So let's keep that in mind as we're looking at any of these dramatic moves. And crude oil keeps getting closer and closer. Sorry, gang. I had some honey just before I went on the air, which I actually know better than to do. There we go. And so what we want to do is focus on the overall, and hang on, gang, I'm just moving a window over here so I can look at a chart. Okay, so what we want to do is focus on those trends primarily that are correcting. Crude is absolutely on the radar. It is tantalizingly close to the 21 EMA. So there are some very cool things that have happened in the aftermath of that volatility. Remember, we want to use this volatility to our advantage. All right, so as always, gang, this show is about your questions. I do have the replay link sitting here on the far left side. Of course, our charts on the right. So let's get to it. First up, Red Dragon. Oh gosh, okay. Well, I will see Red Dragon. Cool. Number one, welcome to the think tank. Number two, I will see you today, 3 p.m. Eastern. What a cool way to kick off your joining the mastery. We're going to do our Ask Me Anything session. So if you've got questions about what we're doing, how we're trading, what open positions we have, things of that nature, check out the AMA today. It's recorded, of course. So looking forward to seeing you there. All right, next up, let's see. AJ asks, do I believe the $1.5 trillion bill that's going to Biden today will have any bullish impact on the market? Likely not. Likely not. Maybe some. But remember, we've had different expectations of this for some time. It could give a sigh of relief rally, but no, I actually do not. I do not. Because remember, anytime we finally see something in terms of news like that, AJ, this is my theory. If you and I are talking about it, if I'm talking about it, it's probably already largely been discounted into the market. So maybe a subtle temporary effect, but not much at all. No, I don't think so. All right, but great question. Tom asked, Raghee, hey, DBC and XLP. Sure. Starting with DBC. Do I like the commodity index at the 21? I do. What this is basically, imagine an S&P 500 for commodities. This is how I would look at the DBC. So 21 EMA, 13 is vaguely interesting, but take a look at this 21 EMA. Propulsion dots right there. Now that's what I use to replace exponential moving averages, most of them on my screen, the propulsion, simple propulsion, which by the way is free over at countdowntrader.com. All right, take a look also at that same level. I mean, right on top of it, we have also a volume ledge. So I really like that 21. We don't really have a volume ledge at the 13, right? So we have this exponential moving average hanging out there, but no size to confirm that anyone has already dug their heels in, that it means something to someone already. A lot of someone's, right? That's why it's volume analysis. So that's what I like on DBC. And then on XLP, well, we have a long position here. And we were looking for, look, when a market sells off beyond levels of support, we start to ask ourselves in the last hour of the day, is it closing back above levels that would suggest the bulls came back in? XLP was looking like a hot mess until we were able to get back above the February 24 low. So for me, it was very important that XLP close back above 72.20. All right, that being said, the next step, what's that next rung on the ladder? It is the 200 propulsion, 200 propulsion. So we want to keep an eye on that as well. Back on track, like the trade. Remember, we got in at the 200. So we're going to be pretty much break even to maybe, unched, as they say, unchanged, to possibly up a little bit as we go into the morning. So DBC, trend following buy, green light, 21 EMA propulsion, and XLP. Let's just see if we can't keep the climb back up. All right, next up, hey there, John. I enjoy your teachings in the gold room. Excellent. I'll be in all of them. Well, I'll be in the options and the futures one for the close today. So I am covering in the options room, which is great. I love closing out the week with the community, with all of our simpler folks in options, futures, and in my mastery. So I will see you there today at 3 for the Ask Me Anything session. Question, what expiry would I use for FXE? June 17. June 17. Yeah, I'd be fine with the June 17. So yesterday's free video, check it out, whether it's a trend follow you're interested in general, or whether you're actually interested in dollars. Gang, dollars matter. There's no market that's going to be separate from the dollar narrative. So I want to stay long dollars, but the way that I've been doing it, and it's been a huge trade for my book, is shorting the euro. Euro US for my Forex traders out there, 6E for my futures traders out there, long FXE puts for our options traders out there. So yeah, June 17 is what I'm looking at, John. And here's just a general rule. Look for where the options open interest is at. Make sure you're looking at a reasonably liquid open interest. When I'm sending trades out, whether that be in futures, options, or my mastery, I'm looking at open interest. I don't want us trading each other. I don't want us, pushing the bid higher on each other. That's why we wait for a trigger. That's why I give the level out to everyone at the same time, so there's not this mad dash for everyone to get in without really a clear and complete picture of what it is that we want to do. So liquidity on the, what is it, 102, 103s? The 102s initially, liquidity is fine there. Yeah. So thanks for the question, John. All right. What are my thoughts on Microsoft? Hey there, Robert. The lower time frame seems to be taking a bullish turn. What do I think is a good time to buy? Oh, there's no buy for me on Microsoft unless it's a day trade, Robert. Yeah. So I do not look at shorter time frames that are anything larger than a 5. I'm either day trading on a 5-minute, it's a 2-5 combo, or I am looking at overnight, daily time frame, trend following, swing trades, call them whatever you want to call them. So I'm not doing anything. I haven't probably really done that in 6 or 7 years. I've been slowly phasing out anything other than a direct focus on day trading or a direct focus on daily time frame trading. So that being said, there's nothing wrong if you're looking at 30-minute, 60-minute, 2-hour, 3-hour, 4-hour charts. I just don't really do that anymore. So the 5-minute, if we can get a nice day trading setup, maybe a breach retreat, maybe a morning breakout, terrific. If not, there's no buy for me on the daily. Any rip higher is going to be shorted. We're below the equator. We're below the wave. We have consistent red grab candles. By the way, if you haven't checked out this video, probably one of the more important videos. Look, I know I'm not trying to be, hey, this is a really important video. I'm not trying to be anything remotely to, you have to watch this. But there are 3 steps to getting your bearings in a market. So if you're having trouble getting your bearings, if you feel seasick, right? You want sea legs, find the horizon, as they say. If you're on a boat in some rough seas, this is how you do it. Every tool in this particular video, hang on here, I want to share this. There we go. Every tool in this video is available over at, I believe, I shouldn't say that for sure because I don't think we use the JT Multi much, but every tool is either in the Countdown Trader or it's in the room drives if you're a member, because I give you all the JT trend, and then some of you have taken classes or you're in the mastery where you get the JT Multi. So anyways, I'm going to push this through the chat. If you haven't checked that out, do so. Absolutely do so. So it'll give you a good idea of why I say what I'm saying about Microsoft, Robert. So I think only bullish turn would be intraday. Overall, I'm looking for a short. And the closer we get to that 200, oh gosh, the happier I will be in terms of the opportunity, right, to get short, So as always, thanks for the question. Good stuff on Microsoft. And really, this ties us back to XLK. I want to be short XLK, Robert. And probably one of the linchpins of this market still is Apple. If Apple goes to double red, it hasn't yet, and we haven't seen the consistency in the red grab candles in the way that I would like to say, hey, this is definitely a downtrend. But we've had one rejection in the wave. I mean, clearly. And we're right here at a floor that if it were to break, I think we could get to Apple 150 very quickly. And that would drag the XLK down. That would drag NASDAQ down. That would drag S&P down, because XLK Tech, it's weighted number 2 in the Dow, number 1 in the S&P, number 1 in the NASDAQ. And again, this is a linchpin. I talked about this in the weekly notes last week. So members, I send out my sector and macroeconomic notes on a Sunday. Then we have our Sunday show, right? Our Sunday Notes live show. So I am sure I'll be revisiting that Apple. And that's absolutely tied to Microsoft, Robert. That's absolutely in that same tide. So I'll be looking for shorting the rip daily and maybe a day trade intraday, but I won't know until, after 9:30 if the structure is there. All right, Mark, how are you? PWR, do I have any thoughts on it? No, I can't say that I do. Mark, you know that if we're looking at a market up at the top of a range, it's tempting to say, hey, let's fade this, but I can't say that I want to fade it either. So no, not really, my friend. But if you know my work, you know what? The trend that preceded was down. Chop now. Possibly overbought. I agree. We got an overbought slow stochastic. We got a volume ledge. I mean, the only thing that I could do up here is a short. So the way that we've gotten here, though, tells me it's probably worth my giving this market a minute to simmer down and see if the sellers are coming in. But really good adherence to that volume ledge. Do you see that there, Mark? Really nice there. So if there's anything I can do, it's a short. but not much else popping on the radar about it for me. So not a lot, but that's the direction, Mark. What about Rio? So Jose, we've been in Rio, well, technically once, but really twice now in the mastery. Once was we got in and we got out the same day, not by design. It wasn't a day trade; it just happened that way. We got in, we got out on that candle. Let's see if I can move that little circle on that candle right there, and then the move to the 200, I'd sent out an alert to our members saying, look, we're fine with our trade. We actually ended up still being up on the trade, which was the fade here near the bottom of the wave on the 9th. And then when we opened up on the 10th at the 200, at the dots, at that 200 propulsion, said, look, that's a valid but separate opportunity to get long. So that one wasn't a trade that I wanted necessarily put on the books, but anyone who's concerned that Rio was just going to tumble, I said, look, that's going to be a level to hold possibly, but our trade's already closed out. I don't have a fresh one right now. I'm really not interested in Rio at the moment, Jose. So if we understand, this is where understanding why we're interested in a particular stock is so important. That's why I spend so much time trying to communicate that with the boats and tide approach. And so SLX and Fuego, VALE, doing really, really well. Rio is now a laggard amongst the two heavyweighted stocks, right? Rio and Valley, they're both number 1 and 2 in the SLX. So I'm not that interested in Rio. I feel really thankful that we were able to withstand the drop on the news about Russia and Rio pulling out of business in Russia. And I'm happy that we held the 200, but I won't be going back in. It did what we needed. We took our profit. I'm pretty much done with it right now. But I will re-examine SLX. I will re-examine VALE and some of the other relative outperformers in there. So thanks for the question. Good stuff. I appreciate that, Jose. All right, moving on. Pfizer for a short. Hey there, Gregory. Yeah, I'm fine with that. The only thing that I would say is XLV is sort of trying to figure out where it wants to be in terms of north of the equator or south of the equator being the 200 propulsion. So we have buys that look amazing. Pullback buys in AbbVie, absolutely. Pullback buys on Bristol Myers, absolutely. But since XLV, the tide, is in chop, you'll see that we've got a lot of uptrending double green markets we can buy the rip, and we have some double red markets where we can buy the dip, and then we can short the rip here, right? So that's sort of some interesting contrast. The only thing that I'll say that makes this PFE a little less than perfect is not the blue grab candle. It's that layer of volume sitting right around the equator, right there. Look at that volume ledge right there accompanying the equator. So if you were to short, you've got to think about reeling that in around 47.80, because right around that area, we have a volume ledge. We have the 200 propulsion sitting around 47.70. So yes, we could head lower, but we have some significant obstacles to the downside. I would prefer to be short or flat though, Gregory. Yeah. So yes, definitely on the short, but I would say, is there anything else either inside XLV or in other tides that look like better shorts? All right. So, I've still been focusing on tech. We've had an Intel trade that we've had open, took profits on yesterday. We've had a Comcast trade that we've had open, took profits on again yesterday. So I'm a little bit more focused on the short side of tech. All right. Okay. Next up. Oh, I'm just about out of time here. Tim, great webinar. Thank you very much. Would it be beneficial for a new trader to take my TOPS class or the Sector Secrets Mastery? The Mastery, I love my classes, Tim, but let me put it this way. If you want to spend 4 hours in some live trading with me, classes are amazing. They're concentrated. They're very focused on a particular aspect of my trading approach. The Mastery, at minimum, you're spending a month with me. right? At minimum, or a quarter or a year. We have, this is the first time we're offering that 1 month. That's what makes this kind of special. I don't know if we're going to do it again, but right now we're offering that 1 month. So that's the difference. 1 month, you get all my trades for the month. You get approximately 3 hours of live trading a month, right? You get to hang out in the room that I'm hanging out in during the trading day. So it's just a completely different type of experience. One is a class, and it's very important to, share that kind of information in a focused way on a particular topic. And the other one is, how do you day trade, Rog? How do you swing trade, Rog? And how are you managing your portfolio? Because we have that in our mastery now too. How are you managing your portfolio? We do that once a quarter. And then, it's an immersion, right? It's an immersion. So I always tell myself, I remember when I was a kid, my parents would speak a dialect that they both speak, Bangla. My parents are both from Calcutta. So they speak Bangla. And my sister and I would pick up a little bit of it. I went to India, I think I was 5 or 7, and we spent a summer there. I came back fluent. They picked me up out of Manassas, Virginia, dropped me in India, and within 30 days, I think we were there for 30 or 45 days, I was fluent. That's what it is. That's what it is. It's that fluency you gain from being immersed sort of in the culture, in the language, in the environment. All right. With that being said, thank you as always for all the questions. Alex, where do you get the indicators? Important question. Let me take a moment to address it. You can either head on over to countdowntrader.com, and you'll see the free downloads are here on the right side. If you're a member of the options room, futures room, day trading room, training room, or of course my mastery, there is a layout for Thinkorswim that I share with you all that has a number of tools built in it with my settings and my layout. So you open it up and then presto bingo, you've got my layout with the free tools that we make available. If you've purchased premium tools in the past, JT Multi, V-Score, Anchored VWAP, our V profile. If you've got those, well, then those are not included, obviously. I would never give away something that I've asked some of you to purchase. So they are not premium tools on there. If you've got my workspace bundle, I get this question a lot. Raghee, is the same thing? Absolutely not. Again, I would never say, hey, go buy this. And then a year or so later, hey, it's free. I would not do that. And we're not doing that. So the premium bundle is a completely different set of tools. And some of them are hot rodded tools, right? Because you've got the Darvis 3.0, not the Darvis 2.0. And we give you a lot of upgraded versions of some of my free tools. So in a lot of cases, we have a free version of the tools and we have a supercharged version of the tools. So wherever you have access to them, and if you're not a member of the room, no problem. We still have you covered. Head on over to countdowntrader.com, go grab them. I hope, though, that you'll come check out what we're doing in one of our many masteries or one of our rooms, okay? All right, so Alan, that is the answer to that question. One way or the other, I'm doing my best to get the free version of our tools into everyone's hands, because I think in this environment right now, it's especially important that we are anchored in understanding the trend and the sentiment. Check out that video that I posted. This is the futures trading video from March 8, 3 steps to getting your bearings in this market. And then check out the replay, simplertrading.com/timeless-replay, just as I make the URL disappear. So there we go. Thanks as always, gang. Now remember, I'll see you Sunday. For our notes live session. Again, if you're a member, you can go grab those notes. I'll send them out as an alert around 5:30. Show goes live at 6 p.m. Eastern, kicking off the open for the new week. I'll see you all then. Brand new show. Great feedback on it. And I will see you all very soon. Be good to each other, gang.